So, after the last water cooling video, a few events transpired which led me to basically completely redoing my custom loop. So, straight after putting the loop together for the first time around in the last video, I noticed that my GPU temps were super high, like sitting in the 90s, and my rad wasn't even actually getting that hot whatsoever. So that kind of indicated to me that there wasn't really proper contact between the GPU die and the block. So as it turns out, reading instructions is definitely a good idea if you're doing something for the first time, because it took me 3 loop teardowns, graphics card teardowns, and then just playing with different screw configurations for me to finally give up and read the damn instructions and figure out I needed to use the included backplate and a ton more screws in order to get the temps in a reasonable range. So after that, my second rad arrived, which was a cheapo Chinese 240mm one, which didn't really change temps that much at all for my GPU. It just kind of prolonged the amount of time it took for the GPU to get to the max temp. At that point, my loop was relatively complete, aside from me having to use the stock Wraith Prism cooler, which I did a video on. If you've seen it, you'll know why I eventually decided to swap it out with an actual water block. Except I bought a cheapo freeze mod water block, which, if I'm being honest, doesn't do the greatest job, but it still gets the job done. Except it probably would have done a better job if I left the little distribution plate in there. You don't know why I took it out though? Well, that's because it turns out it was made of aluminium with a chrome plating. What I didn't realize was that by sanding it down to figure out if it was aluminium or copper, I sanded off the chrome plating, which made it susceptible to galvanic corrosion. And I wasn't exactly gonna let my $300 water cooling loop get cucked over by an aluminium plate, was I? So I guess I screwed myself? Anyways, you're probably wondering if this whole ordeal was even worth it. Well, yes and no. I did end up getting a fair bit better temps, which allowed me to push clock speed up both on my CPU and GPU. However, the loop cost me more than my graphics card, so realistically I could have just upgraded my graphics card to something like an RTX 2060 or 2070 Super, and had way better FPS in game. So in terms of performance, it really wasn't worth it, but it was worth it in terms of learning how to build a water cooling loop, and I'll have better cooling for whatever components I decide to upgrade to later down the track. But after all that, here's what the loop looks like after all the different changes I made. Just a little different. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you like it. If you did, feel free to wash your hands and then hit that like button gently. If you want to see more content from me, you might also want to consider subscribing, and I'll see you in the next one.